What's up, guys? This is Lucas with Haines and Haven Residential. I'm a Polk County property manager. I've placed hundreds of tenants in hundreds of properties all across Polk County, and I'm here to tell you today a few reasons why your listing may not be renting. So the first reason is one that we really don't have a lot of control over, and that's season. So right now we're in December of 2025. Today's December 22nd, and it's slow. Christmas is in a few days. Not a lot of tenants are looking to move. So this is basically going to be our slowest season. So that's not really something that you can control. I would say when you're looking at your lease renewals and that kind of stuff, look at when your lease ends. Maybe give them a 10-month lease or a 12-month lease or 7-month. You can adjust your strategy to try to have your lease not end in such a bad season. That's probably the only thing you can really do with that. The other item we're seeing is inventory. Inventory is still super high. If you guys live around here, you know that there's tons of new construction. So that's a ton of extra inventory and supply. So when you have these brand new townhome communities built, you're like, oh, I have mine. It's a great house. There's 8 of them available for rent, and it's almost a reverse bidding war to go down until they get leased. Also, you have all those apartment complexes. There's tons of apartment complexes in Davenport and Haines City, and they're offering 2 months free rent, no security deposit, no credit check. They have lots of amenities. Most of them are in pretty good locations, so you're competing with that as well. So given that the season is challenging and that there's a lot of inventory, you as a landlord or whoever your property manager is can't be half-ass, sorry for lack of a better word. You have to do everything, honestly. A few years ago, you didn't have to do everything. You could do an 80% job, a 50% job, and you're probably still going to get a lot of interest because there wasn't the competition there. You were kind of king of the castle at that point in time. But now you're not. Now you have to check every single box. So all those little things that we felt were insignificant are significant. That's what's going to make your listing stand out from other people's listings. So you got to go 100%. So one thing that I'm really not liking is a lot of remote showings these days. I understand, sometimes we don't have access to the property, and that's okay. If I can't make it and there's remote access, that's an okay thing. But I think in general, we need to try to be showing the homes to tenants. I don't know how many showings I do where tenants are telling me, wow, you're the only one that's actually shown me the property. And that's going to make a difference. They're going to remember me. I actually showed up. Not only that, but you got to kind of sell a little bit too, right? Like when we work with buyers and stuff like that, we're like, hey, check this out and look at this. And we answer questions and get feedback about the property. So we're able to do that at the showings. And again, those little things are why someone's going to rent my property instead of the property where it's a remote show where there's 30 listings in the community. The tenant doesn't want to pay $1 to go see your listing and put it in their credit card. It's a pain in the butt. They want to show up and have somebody let them in, answer their questions, walk them through the process. It's going to make a huge difference. And last, but surely not least, likely the most important is your listing's overpriced, okay? Those other things are factors. Everything is a factor. You need to do everything 100%. But 9 out of 10 times when I have owners come to me, my property's not listing, it's listed with a property manager. My property's not listed, I have it for rent by owner. Why? Well, buddy, you're $2,300 and all the comps are $1,800. So what they're doing in that case is they're not trying to rip off tenants or do anything like that. What they're trying to do is not lose money. So the interest rates are so high, the prices are still pretty high. It's always been hard to just buy a property new build or buy a property off the MLS and have it cash flow on day one. That's never really been easy, and it's more challenging than ever. So what these owners want to do is they want to try to minimize their losses or break even. They're not even trying to profit at this point. So the big mistake that was made, sometimes it's by accident. Sometimes you buy a house, you have to move. That's a different situation. But some people are buying them as pure investments and not doing enough research ahead of time. Then they come to me after and the property doesn't cash flow. And then what do? I tell them, hey, list it correctly. We're going to get more interest. We're going to have more applications. We don't have to accept the first person that barely qualifies. We can get hopefully 2 or 3 applications and choose the best person, which is ultimately going to be more profitable than that extra $100, $150 per month that you would be getting, right? And what we see too when these owners are doing this, when they're at that 23, but the comps are 18, let's see what happens. We know what's going to happen. I see it every day. I have the data to show you what's going to happen. So why would we do that? Let's look at the data, learn from other people's mistakes, and list appropriately. What we see happening as well is maybe they could have got 18 if they listed at 18 from the beginning. But because they waited, now the listing's dead in the water, it's going to go for 17. And how many months did it sit vacant? What was the holding cost on that? How much were the utilities while it was vacant? Okay. So price correctly. That's really honestly the number one reason why your listing's probably not moving. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, guys, but it's the truth. All right, so follow us for more. I'm going to be doing more long form content like this. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is the first of many to come. Thanks.